Just recently, there was an incident at a Air Force base where a certain Air Force sergeant had the unfortunate circumstance of allegedly having his M18 go off on its own when he set the holstered firearm down on a table or desk of some sort. The plot has thickened. I felt that because I have been covering this so intently over the past couple of weeks, I thought it was only reasonable to go ahead and update you guys on the latest circumstance. The investigation, which was originally being conducted by the military in a civil matter, has now turned into a criminal investigation. In fact, there's been an arrest. But before we get into that, just want to remind you guys again, I am at the GOA Goals in Knoxville, Tennessee. I am going to be there all day Saturday. Maybe Sunday, I'm still not sure yet, but I'll definitely be there all day Saturday. If you see me, say hi, and I'll give you a patch. Look at this thing. Look how big this thing is. Look at that. There's my hand. It's 4 inches wide. It's huge. Say hi to me. I'll have these. If I don't have them on me, check out the Fat Tech booth. They might have some for you too. If you say I lost weight, I might give you two. But going back into this news story, this is a situation. A lot of the haters that have been commenting, saying that they don't agree with my opinion on this, they're probably going to be tickled to death about this current outcome that we find ourselves in. So let's get right into it. An arrest was made in the failed shooting of airmen that led Air Force Command to stop using M18 pistols. So originally, it was thought that the airman had set his M18 down on a table and it had gone off on his own. Now it's significantly different if what we're hearing is true. The Air Force has charged an airman with making false statements, obstructing justice, and involuntary manslaughter, and the July 20th shooting death of a security forces airman at F.E. Warren Air Base in Wyoming, the service announced Friday. The suspect was arrested recently as the investigations into the shooting and the safety of the military M18 pistol launched in the wake of Airman Braden Lum's death. The Air Force said in a brief statement the suspect was not named in the statement. And it just goes into what we already know about how they paused using the M18. Concern was the shooting might have been the result of uncommanded discharge. The suspect's charges indicate investigators believe Lovin's death was likely the result of a negligent discharge in which the gun's trigger was accidentally pulled and the gun fired. Now, this is all we know right now. They're just talking about the history of all the previous instances with the P320. Look, I'm going to tell you guys again the same thing I told you in all my past videos. I don't really have a problem with the P320 going off and everything. My main issue since the start has always been the way that Sig Sauer has chosen to gaslight us and kind of flip the script on us. First telling us that it cannot go off without a full pull of the trigger. That was in their notes, in their actual statement. To switching it later to being, oh, with any kind of rear actuation, rear movement of the trigger. A little tricky little wordplay there. Again, we've seen other guns go off made by other companies. Taurus, Glocks even have had issues with the trigger being pulled somehow and firing. If you look into the Barrett sniper rifle situation that's going on right now, they're having an issue where you actually will rack the round. It's a bolt action. Can't really simulate it well on camera here, but when you rack the thing, the bolt, they've had issues with the rounds going off too without any pull of the trigger. So it's not really anything against the gun as it is about the reaction from the manufacturer. I don't have a problem with the P320. I don't care if you like P320s and you want to carry your P320 or M17, M18, whatever. That is your decision. I do not care. My concern has always been the reaction by SIG and the blatant just gaslighting. Again, saying one thing but doing another. Having a court document saying, hey, this can go off from being dropped, but then not saying it to anyone in the public eye. Saying that it is safe and reliable and cannot go off without the pull of a trigger, but then they quietly update their P320 manual saying you should not carry one in the chamber. Do you get what I'm saying? I just wanted to update you this real quick because I literally just talked about the recent interview less than 24 hours ago, and I felt like it was a duty if you want to think of it that way, a duty to actually follow up on you on this. Because, again, this is huge. If this turns out to be true, if it turns out that this was a negligent discharge by another military member, that changes everything. So, does that mean SIG is out of the woods? How are they going to respond to all this? I hope they don't just immediately go back to the playbook and be like, see, it's totally safe. It's absolutely fine. There's no way it can ever go off without the pull the trigger. Guys, I don't think it should ever go off with just a slight 1mm pull. I know the whole thing with the screw and all that, and people get aggravated because that's still technically a pull trigger. I don't find that acceptable. There should be a little bit more pull than 1mm to make that gun go off. That's the issue. And the fact that SIG doesn't recognize that or address it, that's where I have a problem. Real quick video. Guys, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Again, come say hi to me at Goals. If you want to argue with me in person, that's cool. I mean, I don't have time to sit there and talk, but I respect your opinion. If nothing else, I'll give you a patch. Again, come get them. 300 patches made. Probably already gave out about 30 today on the media day. But still got plenty more to give out. We will see you next time.